So I want to open this, if you guys have some insights, and then I'll share mine. And then together, we should be able to answer your question. And take your time to think. I mean, it's a deep question. It's really going to help your practice as well if you answer this well and understand it well.
So I would say the way I think about it, at least just from our retreat last year when we did
Bring it louder.
So last year when we did that retreat, and it was about the I am retreat, right?
Yes.
And the way I think about it is that when you're saying I am, it's the spiritual, it's the soul, right? But when we're doing the transformation, it's like there's the human experience that we're contending with, and they all kind of intertwine, right? And so the transformation and all the things that we're trying to impact in the physical world is for the human experience. But when you really think about it, you are perfect. I mean, everything, you're not, I always go back to, you're not your body, you're not your mind, right?
Yes.
Like this is just part of the human experience, and that's what we're working to improve. But inside, you just gotta, there's that separation of like, you are the spirit. That's how I think about it. But
It's beautiful. That's really well said. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody can match that? Just kidding.
Well, when I think about it, it's wherever you are, when they're saying like you're perfect, right? You know, wherever you are in the moment, wherever you are in your evolution, you're perfect right there. And the purpose of our meditations, and we talk about transformation, it's a matter of growth, right? It's not to like change, who we are. It's to evolve who we are. And when we start to think about it, because I could see why you would say that, right? Like, why do we even have to transform? Why do we even have to do those things? It's more of I look at it as evolution, and it's a growing of the soul. So we have our higher selves, and then we have our experience here on earth. And our whole purpose of being here on earth is to learn and to evolve on a soul level. So that's why we do those things in the human form, so that we can evolve. Our higher self can evolve, and we can evolve as a soul and a spirit, but we're doing it here on this human plane. So we have to do these things because that's what allows us to grow and learn and evolve. I don't know if that makes sense.
It did. It did.
Okay.
It did.
Yeah.
I had a question. So like, I wonder if it's kind of like Schrodinger's cat, right? Where you're
What
both
is it?
a Schrodinger's cat, where you're both alive and dead, right? And kind of where you're at that moment is perfect because you had to experience all that to get to the next level, right? And that's perfect in and of itself, right? Not really like instantaneously, but then the grand scheme of things, your growth is in the higher dimension, right?
Yes.
I don't know. Is that kind
Yeah.
of how? Okay.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Yeah, it's confusing though.
Tell us the real answer, right?
Right,
no,
right,
there are no
exactly.
real answers. No.
Yeah, I don't quite speak your terminology or spiritual terminology. I'm an engineer, so I'm very pragmatic. So I'm thinking about it, managing expectations. So what kind of expectations do I have of myself? And I'm usually always very unsatisfied with who I am as a person, as how I treat people, how I was in the past. And I always think of it, oh, I made that mistake. I wish I could do that all over again. So in short, I do not see myself as perfect, but I would like to get to a better, perfect as a person, but also accepting myself, saying, okay, you know, in relation to others, I may not be all that bad, but yeah, I'm not quite there yet to say I'm perfect the way I am. I was just the other day was in a movie and the guy was really bad, but he said I am who I am and I'm perfect the way I am. And I thought, ooh, I would really not want to be you. So, but anyway, thank.
That's good. Rob, would you like to answer?
Thank you. I've got to. That's right. This may not be the right time or place, but that's a deep philosophical question.
It is. It is.
Because the only reason that we conceive of a perfect is because we're comparing. And comparison is a toxin. As soon as I look at myself in comparison to something else, I've separated myself from it and assessing it as better or worse than me. So immediately I'm causing division. And I guess for me, I've sort of abandoned the notion of perfect and adopted I am okay right now, and I can do better as I feel like I need to, which is all based on my personal interaction with my experiences, right? So I found personally great anxiety in my past by thinking of a perfect,
right,
and then myself in comparison to it.
Mm.
I couldn't escape. So I just said, okay, no more perfect. How about just right now? Are we
What
okay
is
with
right
right now? That's where I'm at.
So I tend to agree with that type of understanding of, I still can't grasp the idea of perfection, but acceptance
Yes.
is something that I've kind of wrapped my arms around. So acceptance is comfortable, and to
Yes.
try to always improve, but accepting where I am now,
Yes, that's important.
that's something. So that's one level of improvement for myself, but I still can't really figure out this whole perfection piece.
Right. Great. Okay. So, I mean, all these answers are, in my opinion, correct. What is right or wrong, anyways, So we're all living in a relative reality. All of them are right. And so I'll just share what I thought about of this question and how I understand it. So let me try to share it from the ancient wisdom perspective, okay? So the indigenous tradition across all cultures say, you start with the assumption in your spiritual journey, you start with the assumption that you are all that is. You're perfect. You're whole. You are made of the stuff that divinity is made of. You are divine. There's nothing limited about you. In fact, you're so infinite, you're so limitless that you're having this human experience of limitedness to its perfection. You're so perfect that you're experiencing this human form in its imperfection to a perfection, to a degree of perfection. You do everything so perfectly that right now you're experiencing your own imperfection in a perfect way. So much so that you've forgotten who you are. Because you do everything perfectly. You're perfect. You're whole. You are, I mean, if I start thinking about some of the reading, that your light is far more luminous than the light of 1,000 suns. And, it goes on and on to some of our wisdom traditions, the way they talk about it. That you are this amazing, luminous, divine essence who's having this human experience. So that's how the ancient indigenous tradition tell us. But they say what happens is the human experience is also a human forgetting. We forget our true nature, our original nature. Think of a little child, how guileless, how innocent, how pure it is. And as the child grows up, the layers of conditioning of the society, of the education system, of the family, of the community, the identifications start to build on the child. The layers of conditioning start to build, right? Right? But think of the child, how pure and how they embody their wholeness without effort. They seem to do it really well, don't they? They're very guileless. But over the years, they get into this identification and they start to build their own ego and the mind and the identifications with the body and the mind and the ego. So your evolution is journey back to wholeness. Your meditation is really a journey back to who you are. It's not achieving anything new. You're not gaining anything new. You're removing all the layers that you accumulated as a part of growing up, as part of this human experience, and revealing who you always were. This is who you were. So the spiritual traditions are very clear. You start with the assumption that you are perfect, you are whole, and go on through meditation, through the direct experience of meditation. Don't believe me, don't believe the scriptures, don't believe anything. Believe yourself. Through meditation, through direct experience, find out if that is true. So when I say I am whole and perfect, and then I say I'm going to do some transformative and healing practices in my meditation, there is no contradiction. I am doing the transformation and healing practices to reveal my original nature, to strip myself from those layers of conditioning, to start revealing my true essence. Right? So it's really going back. It's transcending your ego. You're dissolving your mind and your body and ego. Exactly like Paresh said, I'm not the mind. I'm not the body. I am pure consciousness. So just becoming more and more aware of who I am and reminding myself of that. So it's really a journey of remembering who you are because you forgot. It is a journey of remembering. Right? Does that explain a little bit? Yeah? So always have that inherent understanding. I am beautiful. I'm exquisite. I am divine. I am all that is. And yes, I have work to do to recognize that full expression of myself. That full expression, that highest expression of myself. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress only because I am on my journey to remember that. I like the example of a diamond. And in fact, I was sharing that with David. David, do you want to show the diamond picture that I found on Google? Okay, I will show because I really want to show the diamond picture. You see the diamonds in the rough? They look like... He's like, really? Okay, so here, if how many of you guys can see? These are diamonds.
They look like rocks.
They look like interesting rocks.
Yeah, these are really cool rocks.
They're like
Yeah, they're very cloudy looking. Nothing really good.
nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, they look like interesting looking pebbles and rocks. Different colors and shapes. They're diamonds. What are we going to do? We're going to polish them and cut them in a brilliant ways. And that's how a diamond's beauty is revealed. We're not creating diamonds. Well, in the lab now we create it, but I'm talking with the original diamond miners. They're not there creating it. They're already there. They're polishing it and perfecting it and cutting it in ways that the light reflects them and glints and shows its beauty. That's you are. That's who you are. You are a diamond in the rough. Make no mistake, you are a diamond. And your meditation is your journey to go back to wholeness. Not towards wholeness, you can say that too, but really to go back to wholeness. So that's how the ancient traditions explain it to us. And I just really like that. So always go with that assumption. Also think of it scientifically, right? You have this hypothesis. I am whole and complete, okay? And this is your experiment in consciousness. So I am whole and complete. And your experiment is meditation. And the methods you employ are various transformation and healing practices. And you systematically remove all the conditioning and all the layers to confirm your hypothesis. Oh yeah, I am actually kind of pure. And I'm revealing myself gradually. So like that. And I know it's raining, but I'm just going to quickly, not raining, but cold. So this is how the ancient wisdom traditions explain it to us. And they do a pretty darn good job, I think. If you think about it in the neuroscientific way, through neuroscience as well, right? Neuroscience is very clear. It says what you think you become. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your action, your behavior, not just reflect your reality, they determine your reality. They shape your reality, what you think you become. So if you think my life is a struggle, then it's a confirmation bias. You're going to find struggle everywhere in your life, right? If I'm shopping for a certain kind of car, that's what I see on the road. It's a confirmation bias. So neuroscience says acknowledge the potential that exists within you. So why would you say, I'm imperfect? You want to acknowledge the highest potential, your highest expression. I am perfect. I'm amazing. You want to go with that potential, acknowledge it, and then work towards it by your meditation practice. It really helps you because what you meditate on, you become that. That's one of the definitions on Google. You become what you meditate on. You literally do that because you repeat it. And in neuroscience, there is a concept called neuroplasticity. So which means you can change your neural networks. You can change that hardware and software by interrupting the way you think and feel. You can change it by thinking differently, by doing that in your meditation. So there is no contradiction in neuroscience as well. You go with acknowledging the potential of your highest expression. So, in neuroscience. And then the third one is in the quantum physics perspective, right? And this is going to kind of lead to our meditation today. According to the quantum field, which is kind of a relatively new field, 10 years or so in science, that they're starting to acknowledge that there is a field around us which is participatory. It is a participatory universe around us, which means we can change the universe around us through our participation, through our observation, the observer effect. And this universe, the space around us is 99.99999% empty space. And this space is full of information and energy. And in this space, all potentials, all possibilities exist. All probabilities and all possibilities exist. So a more abundant you is already there. A more loving you is already there. A more evolved you, an awakened you is already there. Now, how do you talk to this field? How do you talk? So the wisdom traditions told us, and now science is already also kind of explaining to us how to talk to this field. How do you draw that possibility to you, right? Number one is you become what you seek. You embody what you seek. So if you seek wholeness or perfection or abundance, you embody that. You cannot find abundance by feeling lack, okay? So you have to embody what you seek. And again, it kind of ties back to your question, right? So you have to embody that wholeness that you're seeking. You want to feel healed inside to find a more healed you out there, to attract that healed you out there. So you become what you seek, right? That's one important way to interact with this field. And then the second along with it is through your emotions. You have to work on your emotions. In fact, your emotions have to be of gratitude. Like you have to be in that state of receivership even before you receive something. So that's gratitude and love and compassion and forgiveness and empathy. These are not just, feel good emotions. These emotions are going to drive that reality to you every time. The stress emotions are not meant for this kind of work. They're really meant for dealing with that immediate stress that you have, and then you get out of it. That doesn't mean you don't feel something. You feel it, but learn to get out of it quickly. Because if you simmer in that, you are not giving yourself that opportunity to work with this intelligent field that is around you, that has all your possibilities. Okay? So to work with this field, number one, embody what you want, right? Embody it. And number two, have those powerful emotions as your vocabulary. And that's how you get it. I'm trying to go really fast. This is a big, deep conversation, and we could spend hours and examples about it. But I think it should give you a snapshot, right? Okay, good. I actually ended up writing a whole blog on it. So, because I was so intrigued by this question. And then I said, I'm going to share it with you if you want to read it. Anyway, so there is no contradiction. You can say, I am perfect and whole, and yet guide yourself into transformation and healing practices, because you're just revealing your true nature. You're working on removing those layers, removing those obstacles, and going back to your original nature. Okay. So today, the meditation that we want to do, any questions? Anything? Okay. And then we can always discuss later as well, right? So the meditation that we are going to do is along the lines of the quantum field perspective, okay? And I really believe in removing crutches, because I would not be a true meditation teacher if I didn't do that for you. I want you to do this on your own again. I want you to start interacting with this field on your own. Guidance is good, but sometimes you are the best guide for yourself. So I want you to think of something that you really want. You want it so much in your life, okay? And then give it a symbol. Like I was giving an example to David earlier. If you want a new job, think of a letter J, circle it, put some gold lights in it if you want, and then say, okay, what are these 4 things that I want in this new job? Is it I have my own team, I am a leader, I get paid more, I have an expense account, whatever that is, whatever the 4 things that seem so relevant to you. So ask that. And then what are the emotions that you're going to feel when you have that job and when you continue to work? Does it make you feel like passionate and alive and grateful and thankful and fulfilled, whatever it is? So 4 emotions, 4 things that you want out of that job, and the symbol of that something. If it is a relationship, what is it that you're seeking from that person? And then what are the emotions you're going to feel when you're in that relationship? So just think of one thing. And then in this meditation, I will guide you in initially, and then the music is going to change. And that's when you interact with this field. And how do you interact with this field? Number 1, you imagine you're receiving that. You're coming closer to that reality. So you imagine it. You've already received it. And then feel all those emotions that you would feel when you actually had that job or that relationship. So you interact with that field. visualize it, interact with it, talk to it, and show a lot of gratitude as though you've already received it.
See, that's an engineering concept too.
Okay.
Yes.
Which one?
What you just thought, envision it, what do you think to get
Yeah.
before,
Create the whole
put
structure
in
for
your
it.
mind,
The blueprint or the template is already there in this field. Everything is there. You just have to draw it to you. And you have to be a vibrational match to what you seek. You cannot be a mismatch. You cannot be chasing and going after it as though you don't have it and there is a lack in your life and you really need it. That's not how it works. You have to be a vibrational match. So you have to go, I'm perfect. I'm whole. And right now, I want this. And this is how I feel when I get this. I'm feeling the gratitude. I'm feeling fulfilled. I'm enjoying my job every day. I love talking to my team and, all of those amazing emotions. You just keep working on it. And every time when you do this work, I've noticed this so well. When you do this work, your mind will say, what are you doing? Wait, stop building those castles in the air. Come back to reality. Hello, this is reality. This is your life, whatever. That's your survival stress response. It wants you to stay real. It doesn't want you to move around because it never wanted you to thrive. I mean, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it just wants you to survive, That's its job. It's doing its job. And you tell that mind and body, quiet now. I'm dreaming. And at a certain point, the heart starts to become very coherent because you emoting these powerful love emotions and gratitude. So the heart has this powerful electromagnetic frequency. It discharges this amazing energy out of you. And then when the heart is in coherence, it tells the brain, hey, it's okay to dream. Go ahead. Now the brain and the heart are in coherence. And then the magic starts to happen. So it's a work that you do is going to be in progress. Don't give up. Don't get disheartened if today this didn't work. Tomorrow it will. Every time your mind and body says, get up. You have emails to check. You have work to do. What are you doing daydreaming here? You say, no, I'm going to sit my body down. Mind, silence now. This is what I'm going to do. And then you keep relaxing into it. Keep relaxing into it. And feel those emotions. Work on yourself. You can do it. You can do this. Okay? All right. There's so much there, right? In all of this. Yeah, so much.
Mind swirling, right?
It's really incredible.
Yeah, I mean, and digesting it in practical terms.
Yeah.
For me, because as I said, on a daily basis, I speak a different language. And I'm not talking about German or English. I'm talking engineering. I'm a safety engineer in the medical device industry. So it's a very different environment. So I'm trying
Right.
to
And that's just one expression of
transform
you.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Ed, that is just one expression of you. You have infinite expressions, right? So you want to explore that. Yeah. 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 Don't put yourself in a...
Right, and that's part of it. We
Yeah.
most of us put ourselves in a box.
Yeah.
Who we are, yeah.
And acknowledge it, of course. That's your beauty.
You
That's...
can move out of it. I mean, when I lived in different
You can
countries,
expand the
I was in a
box.
different
Yeah.
box.
Yes. Absolutely. All right. So I think, we should begin this journey today.